So if you guys just gather in a bit, and then like kind of stand close like a ball or something, so I can kind of walk around you as I tell you what we have around us. As I said, it's Paris Square. It's the most exclusive square in Berlin, so what we have is usually pretty much like embassies, fancy banks, that sort of thing. The most important monument we have here is obviously the one behind me, Brandenburg Gate, and I'll tell you a bit more about this in a minute, but first I'm going to tell you what else we have around us. So first off, in this corner here, you see the American embassy, obviously. You see the American flag. That embassy was actually just opened on July 4th, like a week ago. When George Bush Sr. was actually in Berlin to officially open it. The reason it's taken so long to complete this embassy, when all these other buildings have been around for years, is because the American and the German government spent years arguing about a security zone around this building. See, the Americans wanted a 30-meter security zone all around this embassy here, but the Germans, they wouldn't allow it. They said that, well, if we do that, we have to change the roads going here, might have to move the gate a bit. The Americans like, oh yeah, do that, no worries. We're fine with that. No, they didn't really. But they did spend 5 years negotiating before they finally found a compromise, and that compromise involves no security zone around the embassy today, which I'm sure all of us tourists anyway are really happy about. Now the next building over here is a bank. The DC Bank. It's a bit of a special bank actually, because it was designed by this guy called Frank Gehry. Have you guys heard of Frank Gehry? He's an architect. He's famous for very outlandish designs. He did the Guggenheim Museum in Bilbao, for example. This building though, it looks pretty normal, doesn't it? Frank Gehry actually wanted a big giant whale as a building on this square over here, but the city of Berlin, they wouldn't allow it. They don't want anything here overshadowing the gate over here. So they had to settle for this kind of facade, but if you go inside that building, you will see this big giant structure inside that looks like a big giant whale, pretty much. It's really cool actually. So if you walk around tomorrow or something, have a pop in and look inside that bank over there. Now over here, the glass building is the Academy of Arts, and then on the corner here we have the Hotel Adlon. This is the finest hotel in Berlin, also the most famous one, due to an event that occurred here in 2002. Anybody has any idea what that was? Do you know your current events? Exactly, you know it. Educated. This is the hotel, actually, where Michael Jackson kind of moonwalked his way to the window. As he did that, he kind of grabbed his baby on the way, and then he dangled it outside the window. That was at this hotel. I think it's the second floor above the kind of Hotel Adlon sign over there. So go ahead and take pictures. I'm not going to judge you if you do, obviously. A very important site in Berlin. If you want to stay there now, actually, the presidential suite costs about 12,000 euros a night. That does include breakfast though. I should point that out. So it's not half bad, I suppose. Over on this side we have Starbucks. I don't know why I point that out, actually. It doesn't matter. And then we have the French embassy over here. That looks a bit like a Hezbollah bunker, doesn't it? Got like sniper holes in the facade and all that going on. I'll get back to why it might look like this in a minute. First I'll tell you that we have a bank over here, we have a posh cafe in the corner, we have a gallery over here, and then we're back. We got the Brandenburg Gate. The gate was built in 1791. It was part of kind of the wall around Berlin at the time. It was one of the gates leading into the city. A few years later, actually, they put the statue up on top. That's Irene, the goddess of peace, riding a chariot, bringing peace to Berlin. Beautiful thought, didn't really work though. Because in 1806, we had this short little French dude called Napoleon that came to Berlin, conquered the city. He liked the statue so much that he stole it. He brought it back to Paris with him. He put it in his own private little museum called the Louvre in Paris, where he kept it for a couple of years. Eventually though, the French would be defeated and the Berliners got their statue back. So now, to deliberately annoy the French, when they got the statue back, they changed the name of the square to Paris Square. They also added an iron cross and an eagle to the statue, as you can see here today. Changed her name to Victoria, the goddess of victory. Yes, victory is sweet, isn't it? Finally, they changed the angle of Victoria's gaze. If you look at it closely, where's she looking? And what do we have there? Straight at the French embassy. Yeah. Now, who said Germans have no sense of humor, right? It's pretty funny stuff. I think it's my own very personal theory, actually. I should point that out. I think that's why the French embassy looks a bit like a bunker. They're a bit scared of Victoria over here. Don't tell anybody that though, because I just pretty much made it up myself. So keep that quiet. The gate today, obviously, it's the most famous symbol of a reunited Germany. It's on 3 of the different German euro coins, for example. So I think now, if we move in, we have a closer look at it. And when we're there, I'm going to try to fill you in on like 800 years of Berlin history.